Well, good morning. Welcome to IBC 2013. This is Broadcast Show live from the floor here at the Teradek booth at IBC in Amsterdam. We have a fun-packed 2 hours for you. We've got 13 guests to get through, so we better get started. QVT. So let's get this show on the road. We've got something here to talk about, and it's a lens. And who makes it? Well, who else but Carl Zeiss? We've got Michael here from Carl Zeiss. Hello, Michael.
Hello, John.
Thank you for coming here. First of all, tell us a little bit about Zeiss as a company, in case those people out there don't know what you do, but give us a little idea of what Zeiss do.
Yeah, Carl Zeiss is a German company, was founded more than 160 years ago in Jena, in eastern Germany. And today the headquarters are located in western Germany, in a small village called Oberkochen, close to Ulm or Stuttgart are the biggest cities next to it. The main businesses Zeiss is doing today is in the semiconductor industry, but also microscopy, metrology, and last but not least also in the camera lenses.
Excellent. Now we're going to talk camera lenses today. We'll look at this one in a minute, but it's been very interesting to look at how cameras have changed over the past 5 years especially, and technology is always moving on. You guys as lens manufacturers obviously have to keep up. How do you keep up with the changing technology this day?
I mean, we are in this market with master prime lenses, ultra prime lenses for mainly feature films and motion picture, known for Skyfall, Lord of the Rings, Life of Pi, for a long time. And back in 2009, when this new trend with HD video arose with Canon 5D Mark II, we started to develop compact prime series, which covers this big chip, this 43 millimeter image circle. And we included a very flexible mount solution. So we have an interchangeable mount system on these lenses. So our customers can use those lenses on different camera systems. And that's exactly to answer your question. Right. Whatever camera system becomes relevant in the future, our customers can swap the mount and use those lenses on different cameras.
Okay, so once they've bought the lens, they can just change the mount. They don't have to pass on the lens or something. They can keep the lens.
Exactly.
And just change the mount and put it on any camera.
This is important for the owner-operator who maybe invests 1 or 2 times a life in a series of lenses.
Yeah.
And it's also very important for rental houses as they can rent the lenses to production houses or DOPs with different cameras.
Right. So let's get on to this lens here. This is a new lens?
Yes.
This is the compact zoom?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about this lens that we've got here.
Yeah. This is the 15 to 30 millimeter new wide-angle zoom, which complements 2 existing zooms. So we launched already a 70 to 200 millimeter lens last year. We added this 28 to 80 millimeter last year at IBC, and this year we show for the first time to public a 15 to 30 millimeter. And what all 3 lenses have in common, and which is quite unique for this market, all these lenses cover the full frame sensor.
Right.
So there's no other company who can do it so far. 43 millimeter image circle, very high resolution for sensors like the F65,
right.
With a lot of pixels on a smaller sensor. And all these 3 lenses, which cover the range from 15 to 200 millimeter, also feature this interchangeable lens mount.
Right.
So also a very future-proof solution from our point of view.
So the lens mount on these cameras, as you say, on these lenses, just change it to whatever camera mount you need to be able to fit this lens on. So obviously you work in the cinema lenses.
Right.
And people know you for the very, very high quality, expensive lenses that you put on an Ariel X or something like that. What's the target market for these lenses?
So the target market for these lenses is, on the one hand side, the owner-operator, as I mentioned before. It's as they invest only 1 or 2 times a life, they can invest in a future-proof solution. They have full frame coverage, they have interchangeable mounts, a true cine-style lens. That means there's no breathing and no focus shift, which is a big difference to photographic lenses.
Yes.
And regarding the price, each lens is approximately 15,000 euro. So you can, for around 45,000 euro, you can get a set of lenses and cover the range from 15 to 200 millimeter.
Brilliant.
And be happy for the future.
Yeah, excellent. Michael, that's great. Now, you have a stand here at IBC, so if people are watching this and they decide, right, we want to come down and have a look, whereabouts can they find you?
Yeah, we are happy to welcome our customers at booth F58 here in Hall 11.
Brilliant, Michael, thank you. And if people are watching this and they want to find out some more information on the website, what's your website address? Yeah,
it's zeiss.com/cine.
Brilliant. Michael, thank you very much for coming on. You came on at short notice for us as well to show us these, and which much appreciated. So thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. If you want to find out some more about these lenses, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to give it back to him, but I have a funny feeling he will take it off me. You will find them, as he says, in Hall 11 F58 or on their website. Of course, you can find all the information about those lenses there. We are going to get our next guest prepared. While we do, we will show you some small VTs during the course of the show. Here's the first one coming up. Welcome back. So we are going to get our next guest on now, and is a good friend of mine. We've spoken many times, Marc Wilson from Glensound. Hiya, Marc.
Good to see you again.
And you. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, well, always a pleasure.
It's always an early start after the night before.
Well, I'm a non-drinker, so it doesn't bother me too much.
Me neither, so we always look fresh, and everybody else is coming on going, Marc, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Glensound.
Sure. Glensound have been around since 1966.
Yep.
Len Davis, our founder, was an original BBC engineer who set up his own company when he left the BBC and started designing broadcast products primarily for the BBC. We're best known for commentary systems, ISDN. We've made audio mixers over the years, telephone hybrids, basically professional audio products for broadcast, BBC and commercial broadcasting.
So these are products used by, for example, sports commentators out in the field somewhere, need to get a high quality audio connection back to a studio, that sort of
Many products we have are exactly like that. I mean, one we're launching today comes under a category called Kubi. It's commentator operated outside broadcast equipment.
Yep.
So largely they're used for sports reporting. They can be used for any sort of news environment.
Yep.
But the new unit we have is a GS GC5 USB. The GC5 is a very significant legacy product for us because there's many, many thousands of them have been sold as an ISDN commentary mixer.
Yep.
Our USB version is partly answering a question that's been the most common question we've been asked over the years, which is when are Glensound going to do an IP codec?
Right, yes.
What we have decided to do is our GC5 USB is actually an IP audio interface for a PC or notepad. Okay. So what it allows you to do is where there are many software IP codecs available and other PC programs, we have now provided a professional grade interface into that computer, which would take care of high quality mic amplifiers. It has our referee compressor limiter system on it, so the audio is managed going in. It provides monitoring for the users. There are 4 users who can use our unit. I'm not sure if we can pick up the picture.
We have a camera. While we're talking, we'll get that. Get the camera on that. But
useful having a camera on a streaming TV show.
It is, absolutely. It'll be coming in a minute. There we go.
I would have brought it with me, but we've only got one.
We've only got one.
The booth.
They'll have to come and see the booth. So we're on. There we go.
So the PC would sit on top of it. It's 4 users.
Yeah.
It USB connects to your PC, and it gives you bi-directional audio to your PC.
Right.
Now, included with this, we do actually also give you an embedded license for Lucy Live.
Okay.
So there is an IP audio codec included with the device.
Brilliant.
You can use it with anything else. You could use it with Skype, which has been highlighted to us already. Useful audio interface for Skype. Lithium-ion battery will run for about 7 hours.
Right.
And it also includes a USB to Ethernet adapter.
Okay.
Very important, because a lot of smaller machines, maybe the one you have there, it doesn't have a USB, an Ethernet adapter on it. There's no hardwired interface. So via a USB connection to our unit, you can have then a LAN connection, so you can have a hardwired interface. So you can multi-stream via Lucy Live and have a wireless connection and a wired connection, and they're both redundant for each other.
Excellent. And this is brand new, and people
brand new. It was launched yesterday
here
at IBC, and an initial response on it has been incredible. Because as I said, a lot of people, if I said to you 2 or 3 times every week we get asked for an IP codec for the last 3 years, I wouldn't be lying. It's, so this is a very, very key product for
absolutely
us.
Superb. Now, obviously IBC is always one for announcements, and that's one of them.
That's one.
Any more?
Yes, there are more. We have more bits of paper. I'll show you this one. We have a new 8-channel talkback unit. This is
Right.
a GS FW032.
Yep.
Again, also on stand, so not with me.
That's fine.
The 032, or 1U 8-channel IFB unit. 8 identical circuits there that can have a straight 4-wire, can
Yep.
have an IFB, or we can have an external program input, one
Right.
common program input across all of them. You can also set up a group talk facility. So although they each have individual talk keys,
Yep.
you can set up a group to talk to 1 to 4 or 5 and 6.
Understood.
So there's a group talk function. And we have loop controls on
Yep.
there as well. So it's very useful, 8 circuits in a very neat, compact 1U fully functioned unit. So that's
Brilliant.
something we've been asked for a few times lately. So we've launched that here at IBC yesterday.
Excellent. And again, people, if they're around, they can come and see.
They can come see all of these units. We have them
Yeah.
operational on our booth in Hall 8.
Fantastic.
E72 we're on.
As I'm flicking through, it looks like we've got something else as well.
There is one more. This one is the GS1U028B. We do a lot of line identification units.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you may come across these, but line idents are basically a small recording device
Yep.
that allows you to identify a line. Normally once you've gone to an event, you're set up and ready to go, you put on a line ident that just gives you a looped recording message to let the studio know that you're set up, the
Gotcha.
line's open, everything's ready to go.
Gotcha.
This unit is a 1U 19-inch unit that gives you 10 individual line idents, 10 separate circuits, each
Yep.
with separate play and record, which can be remotely controlled as well for the play and record. What's key with this unit is that a lot of the earlier units were telephone answering machine quality effectively.
Sure.
This unit gives you 12 kilohertz audio, so a much
Right.
better audio quality,
Yep.
just to check the line is operating as you would hope it to be
Yep.
and that it is open. It gives you up to 20 seconds recording on each ident, and then we'll put in a 4 seconds of 1 kilohertz tone,
Brilliant.
just for lineup. So
And again, people can see this.
people see this on the stand. It was launched yesterday, so it's available to come and have a look at now.
Fantastic. I have noticed as you're sitting there, there's a
We
piece of kit sitting there.
Yes.
I like bits of kit.
HD voice phone, which
Yep.
we are very, very famous for now.
Look at this. We've even got a little camera we can point it
Oh,
to.
look at this, yes. We've seen this before, and I've showed you this before, but
Yeah.
it's still our #1 product, and the reason I'm mentioning it again is because the rollout for the HD voice services is increasing all the time.
Yeah.
And over the last 12 months, since IBC last year, there is 50% more countries making HD voice available, approximately. So basically, every time a country enables HD voice to their mobile phone networks,
Yeah.
this becomes a new viable product again. And for broadcast, it is such a significant unit
Yeah.
because, in simple terms, using the mobile telephone network, the voice circuits of the mobile telephone network, not data, not IP,
Yep.
just the voice circuits, when you use this device on the compatible networks, when you make a call between the two units, you get a 7 kilohertz audio link.
Right.
So, and they are giving you that for free. So we're making the most of this for the broadcast world, and it means a reporter, journalist can go out, a commentator, and using nothing more complicated than a mobile phone, and this
Yep.
is the mobile phone with the SIM card slot on the front. You do put your SIM card into
Right.
the unit, connect your full-size headphones and XLR microphone. You can do interviews, you can be a news reporter,
Yeah.
do live interviews at 7 kilohertz. You can go and do a sports commentary. You can connect it to an external mixer or recording device and just use it as the audio link.
Brilliant.
We've sold, I wouldn't know how many, more than getting on for 1,000 of these already. They're going very, very well for us. And every time HD voice is enabled in a new country, it kicks off again in that
Yep.
country as the broadcasters find it.
Brilliant.
This is the portable unit.
Yep.
We have rack mount variants for the studio end for a two-way link. And the price on these has just come down as well. Because the
Even
quantity
better.
of scale that
Yeah.
we're making more of them, we can make them a bit
Yeah.
cheaper now.
There goes the alarm. Must be time up time.
Do we need to run?
That's what it is. I'm not the win. If people want to come and find you, do you know what stand you're at?
We're on Hall 8. In Hall 8, we're on E72.
Yeah. Brilliant. And if they want to find out more on the website address will be?
New website coming very soon, but
Yep.
the old one is up to date, and it's glensound.co.uk.
Brilliant. Mark, thank you very much
Great, good
for
to see you,
coming
John.
on. Thanks
Thanks
a
very
lot,
much.
mate. Take care. Go and have a look. It's always nice to go and have a look at the Glensound stand, especially if you like kit, as they say. There's always a lot to see on it, and Marc is very helpful and will help you with anything you need if you get to see him. If you can't get to see him, go to their website that Marc just mentioned,
Glensound.co.uk.
Glensound.co.uk. Right, we're going to get our next guest ready. Just to remind you that the Broadcast Show tour is coming in October this year. We're visiting Belfast, Leeds and Pinewood in London. We have a little VT to remind you of that. Welcome back. Don't forget to book online for that Broadcast Show tour live. It will be well worth it, I can promise you. Now, somebody once told me that video without lights is just radio. And basically, we're going to talk a little bit about lights now. We've got Charlie from Zylight. Hi, Charlie. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, and thank you for having me.
Now, for those who don't know, I always like to ask everybody this at the beginning. Sure. Tell us a little bit about Zylight.
Sure. Zylight is a manufacturer of LED lighting. We started in 2006.
Yep.
And what set us apart when we first started was we decided to use a color mixing LED engine to achieve different color temperatures and colors from our instruments. When other manufacturers were making white lights, we decided to make something that was a little bit different.
Yep.
And adjustability, and it's proved to be, it sets us apart.
Yep. Now, you've got something next to you.
Yes.
Which is definitely worth having a look at.
Yep, my new friend here.
Let's have a look at your new friend. You can put it up on the desk, by all means.
You got it. And I'll lean straight down like this.
Yep.
This is the F8 LED Fresnel that we have. It is a Fresnel instrument, and you'll notice it's a little bit different.
Yes.
The fact that it's extremely thin.
Yes.
Has a really funny design to it. And what we've done is we've taken a traditional large Fresnel, which is usually a very large instrument. It has a fan built in, and we've shrunk it down to a very thin instrument.
Right.
This has an 8-inch glass lens right on the front, like you would find on a traditional instrument. But how we achieve the focus in a normal Fresnel, you'd be moving that bulb back and forth, close to the lens and further from it. This we are basically moving that lens away from the LED element.
Right. So well, there we go. We
to
can see
achieve the focus.
The bellows move back and forth.
Bellows comes out and it goes back and forth. Now, the LED element is right on this heatsink right here, and the lens is in the front. So we turn this crank, and out comes the lens.
Brilliant.
So I'm going from a really tight spot when it's all the way out, and if I bring it all the way back, we go to a nice flood. And I can turn it on in the back, and we can see how it works. Right down here at the bottom, I have an on and off switch, and I'll just press this right here.
See.
And the percentage of your brightness reads out, and I can turn it up. I'll try not to blind the cameras, but this is our widest spot right here. And you'll notice it's a very clean beam. This is a 5600K module in here. It's a daylight balance module. And if I turn this, I'm spotting the instrument. I'm spotting that light.
Brilliant.
And this is a quantum dot module, actually, that we have inside here, which is a very high CRI. It has a CRI of 97 plus on it. So you get great color rendition, great skin tone color. It just makes everybody look really nice.
So the light source on this is a single LED?
It's a single source.
Single source LED?
It's a single source. If I turn it off and I point it towards you here, you can see in the front of that lens, there is one LED element down inside there.
There is. You can just about see it. That's little white. There it is.
Yep. It's a big chip.
Yeah.
Big quantum dot chip. So the bellows are on here to protect it from moisture as well. So it's IP54 rated, so you can take this outside in the rain, in the snow, in the blowing dust, and you don't have to worry about it. So if you're shooting outside and it starts to rain on you, you don't have to worry about it.
Gotcha.
Run and cover for it. This instrument right here has a V-mount plate on the back of it. So you can throw your camera battery on the back. It draws 90 watts. So off of this, which I think is a 130, you'll get an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes at full brightness. It has just a couple of knobs on the rear here. One turns it on and off and is the brightness.
Sure.
And the other knob is how you change our DMX address.
Yeah.
And how you turn on your wireless on and off.
Gotcha. So, explain the wireless to me.
So the wireless, all of the Zylight instruments have wireless networking built in.
Oh, okay.
We have 10 addressable channels. And what that allows you to do is to hook up multiple instruments on one channel and spread them out in your studio or spread them out over a set. And we have a wireless remote control that you can hold in your hand, and I can adjust my lights from far away. So I don't have to go into the set to adjust my brightness on my backlights or my key lights or my cyc lights. I can just sit in my chair with my wireless control, assign them to different channels, dim them up and down, change my color temperature, change my color. With the Fresnel, I'm able to bury it on a set. If I had it as a backlight, I could just sit back here in the chair in front of my monitor and dim that up and down.
And the other thing I noticed, of course, is it's got handles on it. And this is not something you would normally do with a Fresnel.
Exactly. No, we actually ship it with barn doors. Barn doors fit right in the front here, an AC adapter and a yoke mount for it, so you can drop it right on a stand. These are optional handles, and we're showing it like this with that battery mount so that you can. It just shows the portability of it. So now you can.
You could handheld this if you could have somebody following around if you needed to with that.
Yes, you could be shooting out here on the show floor, or you could take it outside and do some stand-ups in the rain, not have to worry about it. You just have to hold on to it, and you can walk around.
Excellent. Now, you make a lot more than just this light.
We do.
What's some of the other products that you guys?
Sure, we make a very small camera light that goes on top of your camera that has adjustable color temperature and full color output. People use it as a backlight, a little key light, but also as a camera light, a fill light, an eye light. And then we also make a larger cyc light, an IS3. Softbox goes right on the front, so you can use it as a key light. You could use it as a backlight, but the majority of people use them as colored cyc lighting. Everything is wirelessly controllable and nice, rugged, and durable.
It is. I was going to say, this is built to last. This is not going to fall apart anytime soon, is it?
No. And, manufactured in the U.S.
But remarkably, I'm surprised. I mean, it's got a big battery on the back as well, and it is very portable.
Yes.
I'm very impressed. It looks fantastic.
Your grip will love it.
Yeah, they absolutely. Charlie, thank you for that. If people want to find you here during the next couple of days, whereabouts will they find you?
So we're in Hall 11, and the stand is F56. We're right across from Canon. You come on by and I'll show the entire range.
Charlie, great. And if people can't find you here because they're not here in Amsterdam and they want to find you on the web, where will they see you?
Yeah, you bet. Zylight.com.
Brilliant. Charlie, thank you very much for showing a very impressive light.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice piece of kit, as they say. And I don't think you'll notice if I just stick that down now. Maybe you will. If you want to go and have a look, go and see them at their stand in Hall 11. And of course, Zylight.com is their website. We're going to be moving on now. We're going to keep on the subject of lighting. In the meantime, while we get our next guest ready, have a quick look at this. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to stay on the subject of lighting and welcoming back Peter Daffarn. Hello, Peter.
Hi.
This time in the guise of Photon Beard.
Correct. Yes.
So we spoke yesterday about one aspect of your work. We're going to talk about specific lights and things today.
Indeed.
Under the guise of Photon Beard. For a start, just let people know a little bit about Photon Beard.
Photon Beard is, we're actually the oldest lighting company in the world. We're 131 years this year. We started in the days of gas lighting for theatres and that sort of thing. So we've been around for a long time. We're also, I think, now the last remaining UK manufacturer of broadcast lighting.
Yep.
So all of our products are still made in the UK, just north of London.
Right, brilliant. Now we speak quite regularly at these shows. We spoke at NAB, where you were showing some brand new lights that you were just putting together.
That's
some
right.
New fluorescent lights. Tell us a little bit about how they're progressing.
They're now in full manufacture.
Yeah.
We've sold the first batch already, and it's aimed at the 1x1 LED panel.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problem with a lot of the LED products that are on the market at the moment.
Yeah.
The quality of the light is not as good as fluorescent.
Yes.
And that's particularly true of the LED panels. Some are better than others, of course.
Yeah.
So we developed a light that uses the Osram tubes, which have the phosphors that have been around for a long time in broadcast.
Yep.
So we know the quality of the light. And we made a 1 foot by 1 foot light called the Square One.
Right.
And it can be tungsten or daylight. It's dimmable. It can be mains or battery powered.
But what you're getting is the quality of the fluorescent
You're getting
lights.
the quality of fluorescent lights. Lower power draw as well. It's only
Yeah.
drawing 64 watts, so it's lower power than most of the LED panels.
So the beauty of this is, before with the fluorescent lights, you were thinking, all right, you're going to have a great big, which isn't very portable. It's great for studio work, but not
Exactly.
great for walking around a show like this with a stand or something like that. But now we can do that with these fluorescent and still get that quality.
Exactly, that's
Right.
right. And battery powered as well. So
Yeah. Sort of an HMO light as well there, didn't we?
yes, that's our first foray into HMI.
Yeah.
It was actually an idea that was given to us by our American distributor,
Yeah.
who are very much into the film business, being based in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And they suggested that we try and convert our 2,000 watt tungsten housing, the blonde, into an HMI. So we've been playing around, and we now have the pre-production prototype here at IBC.
Right.
First time it's been shown in Europe, and it's a 1,200 watt HMI, giving a very raw output.
Yeah.
So because most people use these things to bounce off some poly or to punch through a silk or a softbox.
Yeah.
So you're not that worried about the quality of the beam.
Yeah.
But surprisingly for us, the quality of the beam is actually very good.
Brilliant. And that's available for people to come and have a look at now.
Yes, come and have a look at it. We expect to be in production probably back end of this year.
Yeah.
We've more or less ironed out all the problems now.
And so obviously you guys specialise in fluorescent lighting,
Yes.
really. And LED is prolific everywhere at the moment. Are you still finding there's a call for high quality fluorescent lighting over LEDs these days?
There is. I mean, we're still supplying good quantities of fluorescent, and our whole stance on LED. We're not anti-LED by any means. We just haven't found an LED product that we think is suitable.
Yeah.
They're either very expensive and good, or cheap but not any good.
Yeah.
And so we're always looking at LED, and we're playing with a few ideas.
Yeah.
So when we find the right product,
Gotcha.
we'll bring it out.
Yeah. Now, we spoke yesterday and you talked about studio installations, and obviously you're putting a lot of your lights into studio installations. Now, you've got a new system on some of your lights, I understand, which is all to do with switching them on and off.
Indeed. We found, talking to our customers, a lot of studios now have a lot of devices which you can fade down to zero.
Yeah.
You can stop the light coming out, but you can never actually permanently turn them off.
Yeah.
They're always on standby, and often the electrical disconnect is in a room that most people don't have access to.
Yeah.
And so you've got these grids that were just drawing small amounts of power, but they add up because there's maybe 200 devices.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we developed a remote control non-dim pack, which is similar to a distributed dimmer. You hang it up in the grid, you plug your devices in, but instead of being a dimmer, it's simply on and off.
Right.
So when you bring the fader up to 50%, the relay switches on and power to that device, and when you go to 40%, it drops off.
Right.
And it's a very simple thing, but now you can integrate that with your lighting desk. So you can say, okay, all of these products I have on-off control.
So at the end of the day, shut down the studio, you can truly shut down the lighting grid and save on power. That's great. Is that available for people to see? And
it is. We have it here on the stand, and that's in production now. We just supplied the first, I think, 25 packs of those have just been supplied to Pinewood Studios. For use in their new TV3.
Brilliant. Excellent. Peter, that's great. Now, if people want to come and see you here at the show, whereabouts will they find you?
We're here in Hall 11, stand number D43.
Great.
Which is more or less, right in the centre of the hall.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they can find us on the web as well at www.photonbeard.com.
Brilliant. Peter, thank you once again for coming on.
No problem.
Always a pleasure talking lighting with you. Go and have a look. His stand is somewhere that way. Which means nothing to you if you're watching on the web and you're not here in Amsterdam, but that's okay because you can go to their website as well and find out all the information about their lighting systems. We are going to move on again, and I think we're going to start talking audio, one of my favourite subjects as well. So let's talk audio in a minute, but in the meantime, while we get our guests sorted out, have a look at this. It's amazing how quickly we can turn around the guests on this show. We're getting real slick at it now, I can tell you. Right, we've talked lighting. Let's talk a little bit about audio. Audio is, I would say, equally as important as lighting and vision. So with me, I've got Henry Goodman here from Calrec. Hi, Henry. Thank you for coming on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure.
For those who don't know, again, I say this to every guest that comes on, give us a little overview of Calrec.
Well, Calrec Audio is a company that specialises in audio mixing consoles for the live broadcast market, primarily for television.
Right. So we're not talking tiny little mixers, analog mixers here. We're talking sort of high-end professional broadcast mixers.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we're talking large format consoles for live, large OB trucks.
Yep.
So most of the HD trucks in the US, for example, use Calrec consoles for very large events, things like the US Open, Super Bowl, that sort of thing. So it's large format.
Excellent. Well, I've always walked past your stand drooling as I go past at the equipment that I see on it, because I'm a little bit of a sound guy and I love audio. It's IBC. There's always something new to talk about at IBC. So is it the same for you guys? You got something new this year?
Absolutely. It's very exciting for us this year because we do actually have something new. It's not always that happens. But this year we have, three new things on the stand that I'd like to tell you about.
Yeah, go for it.
The first is a new console, actually, called Callisto. We have a picture of it here, I think.
I'll hold it up while the camera gets himself. You carry on talking and we'll just...
picture is good because unfortunately we can't bring a desk here into the studio.
No, a bit.
Callisto is a new, smaller format console for us, designed again specifically for live television, and in a small footprint. But the main key design criteria behind it is to make a very simple control surface, a very simple operation. Lots of power behind it, so still 180 DSP channels, still very powerful DSP engine, an I/O system, but in a very straightforward, from an operational and a technical point of view, control surface.
So this is announced here, and the availability of this for people?
Available for delivery March, April next year.
Brilliant. And so if people want to come and have a look at this, they can get their hands on. Is this desk?
They can come and play and press buttons and see the control surface. One of the interesting things about it is the touch screen.
Yeah.
We're taking a lot of cues from sort of tablet technology for the iScreen. So it's a touch screen using some gestures and controls that you can use to adjust your EQ, dynamics, that sort of thing.
So what is the difference? Obviously, this is you aim them at production. What sort of things do you need on a production desk that you don't necessarily need on a live sound desk or recording desk?
I suppose you could focus on two areas really for a broadcast production desk. One is a monitoring system. So you need a monitoring system so that you can preview sources before you go to air with them. So that's one thing. Then you need a very easy way of dealing with outside sources for external interviews and that sort of stuff. So there are some subtle differences between a broadcast type of console and a live
so
console.
A way an audio mixer, a soundy on a broadcast desk would work differently to, for example, just a live sound engineer. He's looking for different things. He's monitoring differently.
Yeah, and the outputs are different. So you're designing the outputs for a broadcast rather than in a live environment where you're designing it to feed the speaker system with the room that you're in.
And so a guy can look up, a broadcast engineer can go up to your desk and go, aha, it's showing me exactly what I want to see for TV broadcast, as opposed to if you put a normal regular desk in, he's going, I can't do this, I can't.
Absolutely.
Right, brilliant.
Yeah.
And again, people can come and see this, and obviously your other desks that you've got.
We have an Apollo and an Artemis on the stand as well.
Which are always, I just love every time we walk past your stand, and it's the colours and lights and things. It looks fantastic. I'm simple like that. So that's Callisto. Anything else new? I noticed you've got something else in your hand.
Yes, I have another sheet of paper. We're also developing a number of what we call assistive technologies at Calrec. So these are technologies which are designed to help the operator in the environment that he's working in.
Right.
So you could describe these, a number of companies have auto mixers, for example, which is a way of handling a number of different microphones in an interview situation. And it's not meant to replace the operator's workload, if you like. It's meant to assist them. So it allows the console to get on with the job of managing the mic sources and allows the operator to be more creative about the sound that he's doing. And we're developing a number of actually iPad apps.
Right.
We call it Sidekick. And the first one we've done, actually I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's a picture of a football soccer pitch. And the idea is that you can use the touchscreen on your iPad to follow the action, follow the ball around the pitch, and it will manage the microphones that you've set around the pitch accordingly.
Oh, very cool. So you no longer need somebody just handling faders and thinking, the ball's over there, the action's over there, I need to pull up that side, so everything can be done through an iPad. And this is then linked to something like a Callisto or something, and we'll control the inputs on that.
It actually uses our Calrec, what we call our CSCP protocol, which is a protocol which is widely available. We make it available for everybody, which allows remote control of the faders on the desk and other elements on the desk, so that you can provide that level of remote control.
Brilliant. So you no longer need necessarily, you can have a desk there, and if you just literally not worry about the desk following balls around on your iPad.
Yes.
And it's controlling those. Excellent. Availability of this?
Availability of that is from January the 1st.
And again, is that people can come and see that?
Yes, we have a version of that running on the stand together with another app. This one we've described as the soccer app. There's also a fader app as well, which allows you to remotely control faders on an iPad screen as well.
Brilliant. I've got one more little thing on my notes we need to talk about, and this new interface you've got.
Yeah, well, the other new thing we've got is our AVB implementation. There's a lot of talk about AVB and audio over IP these days, and Calrec, we're working hard to. We've signed up to the AVNU Alliance, and we have an AVB interface to allow bridging to our Hydra 2 network.
Right.
And we have that working with one of the other companies that we're working with is Riedel.
Yep.
They have an AVB interface, and we're actually on the stand. We have a Riedel interface talking to a Calrec interface, passing audio into our Hydra 2 network.
Brilliant. So they can purchase a Calrec console and it'll integrate into a current system that they may already have.
That's
start
right.
talking. Fantastic.
As well as AVB.
Brilliant. If people want to see your stand number is, I'm going to test you here.
That's a very good question.
I
I have no idea what my
I will
stand
tell you what your stand number is. You know, I have it written down, but I always like to test. It's just always interesting to see if people know. You are in case you want to know, Hall 8, C58, Hall 8. So obviously, if you want to go and see them, and you are going to be around the show in the next few days, Hall 8, C58, highly recommend that you go and have a look at the Calrec stand if you want to have a look at some amazing broadcast production mixers. If they're not able to get here, what's the best website they can go to?
The website is www.calrec.com, simple as that.
Brilliant. Henry, thank you very much for coming on and talking about it. It's a subject I find very interesting indeed.
Pleasure.
Yeah, go and have a look. If you are around, definitely have a look. They are great consoles and just worth going around and having a play with them. We are going to swiftly move on to our next guest. I'm looking forward to this one. I've just seen him walk in. Anyway, here we go. Have a look at this while we get our next guest sorted out. Welcome back. Well, normally we have a 10-minute slot for our guests, and we go to that, and it's quite normal. There are certain guests where there is usually a producer behind a camera going, I don't know, what's that mean? I think wind up or something like that. And it tends to happen with this man here. It's Steffan from Polecam. Hi, Steffan.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming on.
Not a problem at all.
It's always a
I was
pleasure.
actually going to dress up in a lady's outfit because I thought we could do a little Richard and Judy thing together.
Do you know, it would have worked so well.
It would have worked so well, but Simon and Stephen just said it's not going to happen.
They tore it off. I saw them tearing it
Successfully
off you
failing
outside.
to meet the low standards we set ourselves.
It's shocking, isn't it? Right, well, we've spoken many times.
We have indeed.
And if people don't know about Polecam, then they've clearly been on the wrong planet somewhere. But just in case they have visited us for the next couple of days, just give a quick overview of Polecam and let people know what it's about.
So what Polecam is really is it's something for today's market.
Yeah.
Cranes have been around for years. For as long as we've had cameras, we've been sticking cameras on the end of sticks or on the end of something to get them up. But they've always been big and bulky. And what we did, very simply, is take a mini cam, and we're using really neat small cameras, putting them on the end of a carbon fiber boom with a remote pan and tilt unit. And what's so lovely about it is the speed of deployment, and you don't need a van for it. You can put this thing up in 10 minutes. It can work in a really small, tight environment, as short as 5 foot long in an operating theatre, and within a matter of a few minutes, really, you can have it de-rigged outside and up to as long as 28 feet. But the mini-cam market started to tail off for us because the Canon 5D hit the market, and so many people were coming to us going, you know, I love the concept of what you're doing, but I want a bigger camera to go on it. So we've actually built a larger head for it, and we've kept the same philosophy of that super lightweight, rapid deployment, and easy to use. And one of the things that people said was it wasn't that easy to use. There was a lot of cables, and we've stripped it right back to something incredibly simple that I know even you can use.
Even I can use a Polecam, and that's saying something.
But it is indeed, you know. And so we, you know, it's all now down into one big Pelican case. So we're here demonstrating the, you know, with C300s. We've had people now shooting with Reds on board, which we didn't think was really going to be that easy, but. Do you know what? People love it and they're using it. I had a guy came to the stand yesterday from Israel. He's just bought his second Polecam. He sold his 4 Jimmy jibs. There's nothing wrong with his Jimmy jibs. He said, but in the day and age that we're working in, they want to get the shots done in a half, if not quarter of the time. They don't want the crew for expenses of travel and hotels and everything. And he's, you know, he's now doing the X Factor in Israel. And he used the phrase to me yesterday. He said, "This is a game changer." And I've always known it and believed it. But you know, when your customers start coming back to you and saying it, you think to yourself, well, maybe we are doing something right. You know, so it's still, you know, it is very exciting. You know, we've just sold our 500th rig. That's just gone out to Korea. Now our distributor in Korea, 2 or 3 rigs in 5 years. Suddenly we've come out with the bigger head, and he's putting 5Ds on and C300s. I think he's taken 10 rigs this year already, and that's just in one small territory. So, you know, the game has changed, but we're still specialists in mini cams. And for us, something very exciting that's happened is Panasonic, as you know, I mean, a huge organization, and they've actually come to us and they've said, we want you to do for us what you've done for the likes of Toshiba in the mini cam market. And, you know, they've come out with a little camera like this. Look at this.
That's a small camera.
Now, this was described to me this morning as a wolf in sheep's clothing.
There you go. See it on there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
There we go.
We got a
Look at the size of that. A lovely 1/3 inch CMOS sensor. You know, interlaced and progressive. It's single chip, which means there's a plethora of lenses available for it on the market. And the price is coming right down as well. It's a very exciting piece of kit. And they've got 3 or 4 cameras in this range. And, you know, people are wanting and still wanting the small cameras. We're doing underwater housings for these sort of things now. The new Ron Howard film, Heart of the Sea, shooting with Anthony Dodmantle. They're using the Indicam mini cams at the moment, but they've taken our underwater housings from us. So, you know, this aspect of what we do, and then also, of course, we've done a Polecam pan and tilt head, fully submersible as well, for those air-water-air transition shots. And, you know, they've become a standard on the Olympics and all of these major swimming events and what have you. BBC are about to commission a new major natural history series. They're on the stand. They're looking at the latest miniature cameras. They need them as small as possible. They need them easy to use. And now with things like, and you're aware of the Odyssey from Convergent Design, you know, to have an OLED monitor of that quality and a recorder working with something as small as this, you know. And what's nice is the big manufacturers are looking at the presence that GoPro have pushed into the market. You know, 200,000 units a month. It's an insane change they've made on our market, and less than 1% into broadcast, but it's still a high number. But they still want the ability to switch the lenses and have the quality they have.
I was going to say, it's just people are thinking, oh, small camera, rubbish quality, but that's not the case anymore with these, is it?
It's no. And you know, the low light sensitivity, the quality of the image, what you can do with the image. What's lovely about working with somebody like Panasonic as well, as large as they are, they do love to listen to what the customers have to say. And if it's a little software tweak that can be done, you know, myself, the likes of Bradley Engineering are doing some fantastic work with their cameras, and they're listening to what the customers want, and they're making these changes. And at the end of the day, Polecam is a platform. You know, and we're not stuck to one camera. It's what the customer wants, or what the market is starting to move towards. And these are really exciting times. You know, the way we buy, the way we sell, the way our customers are using things today. It's changed. It's, you know, the way things are happening at this show has changed beyond recognition. I know guys that are using C300s now in their rental fleet, and they're already starting to move them on.
Yeah.
You know, so the camera technology is moving so fast, but the platform that we want to place them on, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, and that's here to stay. You know, everyone wants gyro-stabilized heads now, and you know, I'd be a fool to say that we're not working on it.
Sure.
You know, of course we are. I'd like to see we're going to have something very exciting out for next year.
Yeah.
But the basic concept of what we do, and you've done it yourself with your shoots, the fact that you can pull it out the back of your car, throw this crane together, and get moving quickly. You know, it's not going to be long. You know, the talk here of the show is 4K.
Yes.
3D's gone, 4K's here.
Yeah.
Fantastic, that's great. Just give me a camera and I'll put it on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to get that closely involved in it.
Now you mentioned taking out the car, setting it up anywhere you want to, in a field or something, but you need to power it.
Yeah.
And this is one advantage you've got over, especially over the big rigs as well.
Huge,
is that
huge advantage.
You can power these off of regular batteries as such, something like what you've got here.
Well, I mean, and again, I've brought these. I don't want to teach you to suck eggs. You know, I know you use these.
Yeah.
And I brought this in as an example, as a bolt onto a Polecam, as you said. It's this absolute portable nature of it.
Yeah.
So what they've got here, PAG have got one of their standard. It's one of their standard V-mount batteries.
Yeah.
But what they've done is put this extra back on.
Yeah.
And they've made them so you can stack them up.
Yeah.
Now this we've seen before with IDX. They could only ever do 2.
Right.
We can stack 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And we can stack them on the charger like this. And the huge difference for us is we need counterweights on the back.
Yes.
You need to take batteries with you. And with flying around all the world all the time now, weight is critical.
Yeah.
The cost of excess baggage is absolutely critical. So if I know I'm taking 6 batteries with me, rather than having 1 or even 2 on board, I'll stick all 6 on board.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to think about doing it. On the Polecam stand there, we've got the full 7th Heaven, the full 8-meter rig with an IO Industries flare camera on it, a box wireless transmitter on, and I think we went through 2.5 batteries in the day.
Wow. And the beauty of these batteries, I was speaking to Pag before, is that the more you stack, the longer they last, but they actually last longer than the individual. So combined, they work.
Yeah,
it just
absolutely.
And as I say, you can just add them on as counterweights.
And one of the things they've done also, and it's something that we do on Polecam as well already, is we've put a USB port on.
Yeah.
I've done a 3-week shoot in the California desert, which is fantastic. We've got batteries coming out of our ears because we need to have them. But everyone's walking around going, where do I plug in my phone to charge?
Yeah.
We don't have anything. So little tiny slice on here, this is called the Power Hub.
Yeah.
And what it does have, it's got D-taps on each side here, but it's got a USB on the bottom.
Let's see if we can get that on there.
We've got the blue light on there. Oh no, I'll tell you what,
put it on the battery,
let's turn it on the battery,
Yep.
and let's get it one.
There we go. So there's the USB, which you can switch off and on, so you can have this nice little blue LED. You can see it on.
You know, in this world that we're living in this communications industry, you know, everybody needs access to this sort of thing. Well, if you can go out as a cameraman with your crane and know that your phone's not going to have any trouble, but also we've got guys now shooting with big cameras on their crane, but they're putting a little 6-inch stick on the bottom and they're sticking a GoPro on the bottom.
Yes.
So they're actually flying that to give the super wide shot, but sometimes dipping in the water as well. Well, with a GoPro 3, you frame it up and you get everything on your iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's going to drain your phone down really quickly, so that when you need to call your wife to tell you you're coming home and dinner's ready, it's dead. So you keep your phone on charge all the time here. And you know what? We've seen for years the imitation batteries coming out of China.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've all made the mistake. And there is some good stuff there, but you know what? Working with the guys at PAG, they're an English company. They've been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
It works great, you know, and they listen to the customers as well. Because if in this day and age, if you don't listen to your customer, you might as well just throw your pound notes in the fire, or £5 notes. We don't have
pound notes anymore.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting too old again.
Showing your age now.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the days in Amsterdam.
No, of course not.
Nothing
Of course
whatsoever.
not. I mean, I have to say, with these batteries, we use them ourselves, these PAG ones, and any shoot that I do, if there's these batteries and choices of others, the camera guys go, "Oh, thank you, I'll have the PAGs."
Absolutely,
Because
and you know, They used to be a very expensive battery. They're now actually very price competitive. And if you take into account that, where your backup and support and service is coming from, and that's so important. And that's one of our sort of key philosophies of Polecam as well. You have a problem with the equipment, and let's face it, 9 out of 10 times it is pilot error. We do not read manuals anymore. It's very, very difficult. Do you want me to wind up?
Look at that. Yeah. It happens every time. Every time you're on, we're still going for it. We might have to wind up. If people want to find you, whereabouts will they find you at the show?
You'll find us on right at the entrance to Hall 10
Yep.
on 10C49. And before you ask the next question,
Go for it.
www.polecam.com.
Excellent, Steffan. Once again, thank you very much for coming on. Go and have a look at their website. You'll be surprised at just what they can do for you. It's not just a stick on a tripod, I can assure you that. And if you're around, definitely go and see them, Hall 10C49, and make sure you find the guy with the mad white looking shirt. And he'll talk in Aussie for you, and then it's all worth going for. I can tell you that for nothing. Thank you very much, Steffan, for coming on. We're going to get our next guest sorted out, and guess what? We've got a little interlude clip for you to look at again until we're sorted. Have a look at this. Well, we made it past the Polecam interview, which is always a good thing. Could go on forever, that one. Still, we are back. We are halfway through this 2-hour show, which means we are, working out, an hour in. We have our next guest sitting on the little white couch, ready for a chat. It is Tony Taylor from TMD. Hi, Tony. Thank you for coming on.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. Now, I've been asking this of everybody who turns up. I know you, we've spoken many times.
We have.
I might have to assume that the viewers may not all know who you are, and who tell us about TMD in that case.
So TMD is Transmedia Dynamics, media asset management company. We're a software developer, and we implement software for broadcast, media and archive organisations around the world. Customers like the National Film and Sound Archive of Australia, Discovery, US Senate, organisations like that.
So, where in the workflow does your software sit?
First of all, you have to define what workflow actually is, because you go around these halls and you'll see lots of people saying workflow. Okay,
let's go by your definition of workflow.
What's the definition of workflow? I mean, essentially where we sit in the content chain is customers these days, broadcasters, media organisations, need to create and prepare more content for more delivery platforms than ever before.
Yeah.
We've got the traditional delivery platforms of broadcast, satellite, direct to home, etc. But more and more and increasingly, people are consuming content on new devices, on your laptop, on your iPhone, Now I look at my two daughters, they have 24 and 22, and they're turning around and they've got a phone in one hand, their laptop in the other, and the TV going. So they're actually watching content on 3 devices. So where we sit in the workflow is when that content needs to be prepared for delivery.
Right.
So it's the basis of the metadata, managing the metadata up front, bringing all that information in, and then preparing the content for all the different platforms. And you know, if you're trying to prepare the content, there's hundreds of platforms, hundreds of formats that have all got to be created. So we sit in the content preparation and delivery.
So it's not as simple as thinking, oh, I've got my piece of content, I want it to go on Netflix, I want it to go on an iOS device with something like a similar sort of platform like iPlayer or something like that. I need it to be downloadable content, and I want to play it out over the air in standard format.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't just drop a file up there and hit play.
And hit play. That's what we try to achieve with our software, is to allow that to happen.
Right.
But what goes on is really complex. So, for instance, you know, rights management. So, where can people play this content? So, if it's acquired content, films, etc., then how can it be played? Can it be downloaded to own? Can it be downloaded to rent?
Yeah.
So, it is simple in the consumption because they just hit play on their device and it goes. But the workflow process is prior to that. So, for just one film.
Yep.
You might be creating 40, 50, 60 different files because you need it on all the different platforms that have got all different formats.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple, but our software tries to make it simple for our customers, which are the broadcasters and content owners.
So, for example, in our family, we used to have Sky TV and we had their full package, and we used to watch everything on the television. Over the years, that's completely changed. I now have Freeview.
Yep.
I subscribe to Netflix. We're watching iPlayer. Everything is that we watch. Nearly everything other than news and things is on demand.
Yep.
Pre-recorded. So something like Netflix, which is very popular now in the UK.
Yep.
That still has multiple devices, so we can watch it on a PS3, an Xbox 360, an iPhone, an iPad.
Yep.
But that's different formatted.
It's formatted different, so it's different files for the different formats. Now, some may be similar, some may be the same, so the different elements. But because of the way that the device manufacturers have looked at their formats, you know, some of them want to lock people into certain formats, other formats. So it becomes a problem for content owners to deliver their product purely and simply to a single platform with a single file. So it has to be multiple files.
So obviously we have no way of demonstrating it, but try and do it with words. The idea behind your software is that they can create this multiple versions of content in the format that each of these devices need for something like Netflix.
Absolutely.
With a simple.
Well, it's simple in the way that it operates, because what we're looking at is, for a start off, you then get back to the complexities of rights management.
Yeah.
And of course now, with the internet, we're going over territories.
Yes.
So people buy rights to programs to play out in certain territories, and therefore you've got the issues of that. So the software looks at the rights, looks at the devices it needs to send it to, looks at the platforms that it needs to send it to, and all this is metadata.
Right.
So metadata is king within these systems. If you haven't got the right metadata, you're not going to deliver it to the right platforms, or if you deliver it to a platform, you might be delivering it in a time frame that you haven't got rights for. So it looks at the rights, looks at the information, and decides what it needs to create to fulfill the demand on that platform.
So obviously, being in this industry, and you really have to know everything there is to know as such about all the different platforms and technologies that are going on. As far as you see it, IPTV is on the up and will continue to, that's it, it's away.
Absolutely, absolutely. But one of the things that's being said is that standard linear TV is dead. And I don't believe that to be the case, because I believe that not only are the non-linear platforms, delivery platforms as we call them, expanding. IPTV, everybody uses different terms, OTT, IPTV, VOD, whatever it might be. Essentially it's delivering content in a different way. But the current platforms for distribution, the linear TV platforms, I believe will continue. But not in the way that they are today.
Right.
You've just turned around and said you don't have Sky anymore. You have Freeview.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it will
Right.
go. You know, so we will have the standard platforms, the traditional platforms, and we will get an increasing number of digital platforms.
Yeah. So managing this content then, with all these multiple devices, you say it used to go to channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it used to go out in linear, and now, as you say, there are hundreds. How do you manage that? How is that done?
It's becoming a huge problem for our customers to be able to manage that. For instance, we've got one of our clients that last year put 40,000 hours of content onto one of the digital delivery platforms.
Yeah.
This year, they want to put 750,000 hours. So that growth, and the only way you can manage that growth is by putting in automated software solutions to create that content. So it is all about the metadata. It's all about managing and making sure that metadata is accurate and able to be read through the system to be able to create the content and deliver it out to the platforms in the right manner, in the right format, with the right quality, and the right territories, etc.
Brilliant. Tony, that's brilliant. Now, if people want to come and see you and talk about this in a bit more depth, where will they find you here at IBC?
They'll find us in Hall 2 on C58. It's right at the front of Hall 2, so we've got a good position. So, and they can find us on the web at www.tmd.tv.
Brilliant. Tony, thank you for coming on. Always interesting talking to you about this. Much appreciate you coming on the show.
No worries.
And stepping away from your booth for a little while. If you want to go and have a look, I will say it again, he's in Hall 2C58. The man knows his stuff about content management and IPTV, I can tell you that. Of course, if you haven't managed to get here, have a look at their website. There is a plethora of information and, more importantly, his contact number, so you can give him a call there as well, I should think. In the meantime, we are going to move on, and we will get our next guest lined up for you. I'm not entirely sure what clip we're going to come next, but I'm just going to remind you that Broadcast Show Tour Live is coming up in October this year. We will be visiting Belfast, Leeds and Pinewood Studios in London. We will have lots of new kit that's been shown here at IBC, and of course we will have Mr. Philip Bloom doing free seminars in the morning and the afternoon. I'll say it again, free seminars in the morning and the afternoon, so get yourself signed up to that, broadcastshow.com/live. That may or may be what's coming up next. If not, enjoy this next VT. Well, look at that. It was the Broadcast Show Tour Live VT after all. I got it right. That was a bit of a fluke. Moving on, we have our next guest with us, and that is Micky Edwards from Miranda. Hi, Micky.
Hi, John. How you doing? Good to see you again.
And you. Now, we spoke, I think it was at NAB.
It was at NAB last time,
It seems so long ago now, but it was only about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, I've asked this of everybody, if you could just tell us a little bit about Miranda and what it is that you guys do.
Sure. So Miranda Technologies is broadcast equipment manufacturer.
Yep.
We've been around since about 1991.
Yep.
Gone through a number of transitions during that period. Initially known for some smaller units that were called Pico Links,
Yep.
which basically took one format in, gave another one out the back,
Yep.
and the interfacing range. So over the years, Miranda's increased its product portfolio. So we've gone from interfacing. We were the first ones to introduce multi-viewers. We had the Kaleido range, and we're still going for that. And I've got some exciting information about what's going on for the multi-viewer now. And then from multi-viewers, they then expanded into master control and branding, which is actually when I came on board with them. I was part of the Oxtel company, and they acquired us back in 2000, 2001. So I've been on board with Miranda since then. That brought them the basic master control and some branding. Further expansions of the company saw them bring on higher grade branding and graphics with Vertigo, a Canadian company. And then we moved along and increased the portfolio then with routers. Been very successful with our Envision router range, and we've got some new and exciting features that are coming up with that as well, which we can continue with. Moving a bit further on and a bit nearer the times, we then acquired Omnibus, which a lot of people know for the automation, and their stunning product, which is ITX, which is a file-based playout system, and got a little bit of information on that as well, so I'll give you an update on what's happening there. Then more recently, we were we were then acquired by Belden. So we went from being a $200 million company to a $2 billion company. And we'll talk a little bit about what's happened there and some information on there.
Absolutely.
And then bringing us right up to date is the latest acquisition that Miranda had with money through from Belden, is that we've acquired screens, we've acquired Softel subtitling systems. So they're now on board with us and starting to be integrated into our product portfolio. So we now have a large breadth of products that covers most of the spectrum within the broadcast range.
So, been around long enough to see changes in the industry. We've gone from, within this time, we've gone from standard def to HD. We've had a 3D boom. We've gone now Ultra HD and 4K. Now you guys are making hardware kit. You've got to keep up with this. How are you guys keeping up? What's the deal with 4K?
So what we've done with 4K and early adopters of the technology, there's not a lot of equipment out there. So we're at the forefront and leading edge of some of this. So we've already come out with a part of the telecast range we have for camera backs is that we can have everything going down a single or a twin fiber. So we put all of the information that's coming through and the telemetry data that's coming back, if there's feedback coming through to the cameraman, etc. So we've actually now come out with a telecast copperhead, which fits onto the back of a 4K camera, and it uses quad link. So you've got 4 3 gig signals going into the copperhead and then coming out with a single feed from there. Brilliant. So that's the first part of acquisition, because we really see that as has happened with SD, HD, a little bit with 3D, although 3D was, I think, a technology that lots of people like to dabble in, but there's like only 1 or 2 broadcasters left that are doing it. I think 4K is different. I think that 4K will be used a lot more for acquisition, which is what we're doing. We're working on production. So we can take this quad link. We now have a multi-viewer that will take the 4 3 gig images and stitch them together, so you can have one 4K image, which is really nice, if you can find a 4K monitor to put it on. Absolutely. So that's kind of interesting. But we can also do a down convert as well. So we're working on a card to go into our Densité frame that does a down convert. So it'll take the stitched 4 images and then give it out as a 3 gig 1080p. We've already had some success with this as well. And then the next bit of the technology that we needed to look at was, well, how do you use these signals? So we've come up with some quad switching through our router. So the enterprise class routers, the 8576, has the ability to take in the 4 links and then switch them synchronously through the system. So we're able to do that. So we now have acquisition through a camera. We have the ability to switch it through the multi-viewer and through the router, and the ability to display it through the multi-viewer. So we're coming up with a range of solutions. They've already been used for some sporting events. We were part of the trials with Sony doing the Confederation Cup out in Brazil, and we've also been used for a couple of football matches in the UK that they've experimented with Sky to look at 4K production.
So that's 4K is something I've heard about, and obviously you guys are working with that. The other thing that people are talking about is IP.
Right.
And moving data across, moving imaging across
Well,
through IP.
one of the obvious things is that once you start getting to 4K, if you're putting it down a single pipe, your data rate is exponentially larger. So yes, you could put it through short lengths of coax, but actually if you're going to start doing something with this through production, you're going to have to start moving it across IP. So we're looking at technologies at the moment that will allow us to do that. And part of our frame for the routing and everything allows us to look at technologies that we can put in there to help us do IP through a router. So that's the sort of thing we're looking at the moment. As an aside to that, with the ITX system, we also realised a lot of people want to get simulcasts out. So we've now launched at this show, IBC, first place we've shown it, is the IP out for our ITX playout system.
Oh, okay. Yep. Brilliant.
So we put an IP out on there now for simulcast.
Excellent.
So that's really good.
And that's talking about new at IBC. You've got some products with you.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Should we have a look at?
Let's have a look at this. Okay. So what we've got here is the integration between the router and the multi-viewer. So we've got a very robust connector that fits onto the output card of the router and the input card of the multi-viewer. So what you'll notice is that it's 16 because that's the typical flavour of the inputs on the multi-viewer. And this is a cable that's been specially built for us by Belden. As I mentioned earlier, we were acquired by Belden. So part of the synergy that they have is the ability to put this cable together for us. We're calling it M3, and it's the integration between the router and the multi-viewer. So very quickly, instead of having to connect these all up through DINs or BNCs, you can plug it into the back of the router, you can plug it into the back of the multi-viewer, you've got your 16 channels all up and running, and very neatly done. Brilliant. So this is a new launch for this show.
So obviously it's IBC is always new launches. Is there plenty for people to come and see at the stand this year?
Absolutely. We were absolutely packed for the first day. Probably one of our busiest first days I think we've had, with the recent acquisition of Softel on the booth and having Belden on as well. Everybody's come there. We've got Telecast on the booth. So we're in Hall 8, stand D41. If anybody wants to find out any other information about us, please come and talk to us.
You preempted my next question as to where you are. So you're in Hall 8 D41. Obviously people can come and see you there. We are streaming live to the world as we speak. I'm sure there's hundreds of people watching and they all want to find out some more information about it and they can't get here. What's the website they can go to?
The website they can go to is www.miranda.com. Simple. Just log on to there, you'll find all the information about the products.
Excellent. And the new products are on the website at the moment?
The new products are on the website at the moment, and we've got them all on the booth as well. So Brilliant. It's not smoke and mirrors. You can come and feel and touch it and see what we're doing.
Micky, thank you very much for coming on and talking to us. It's much appreciated. We always realise you're taking time out from the booth to do that. So thank you again for
Pleasure to see you,
Brilliant.
John. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Go and have a look. I'll say it again, they are in Hall 8 and it is D41 and obviously the website as well has all the information you could possibly need about everything that Miranda can do for you. We're going to be moving on. What's the time? 11:30. It's nearly getting there. We're 3/4 of the way through our 2-hour show. We got half an hour left. Many more guests to come on. So stay tuned while we get our next guest sorted. Welcome back. We've got half an hour to go until the end of this morning's show, and we've pulled Jeromy Young back on again from Atomos. I don't know whether you saw yesterday's show, but Jeromy was here talking about the new Samurai blade, and we're getting all sorts of questions and things now about 4K.
Yes.
It is the buzzword this year.
Indeed.
Has been, I think, for about 12 months now.
Correct.
It really is moving forward. It looks as though it's here to stay. You guys make field recorders, very good field recorders,
Yes.
nice screens, and if people want to see, you can have a look at yesterday's show where we had a good overview of the new Samurai blade. However, 4K, how is that going to affect Atomos, and how are you guys moving with that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and we get that a lot from our customers.
Yeah.
I'd like to rewind and go back to the SD to HD transition. I was 23 years old, just entered into the industry when that revolution started to happen.
Yeah.
And for 5 years doing global business development, it was the buzzword for many, many years.
Yeah.
However, the sales didn't reflect the buzz.
Sure. Yeah.
And it took until, that was around 2001, 2, when HDV came out, and people were talking about HD, but then recording on their DV camera or their Digibeta at the time. And so what we learned from that was, obviously it takes time for these transitions to occur.
Yeah.
And what actually happens, if a company puts their resources into development of a future standard, then what often happens is, if that doesn't pick up, or the technology change, which the infrastructure change is quite expensive and a very laborious process for companies, production companies, broadcasters to change their infrastructure over. So that takes time, and also takes money. So we watched the HD transition, or I watched it and personally in my job, and basically seeing very little result from all that development. So what Atomos' philosophy is to meet 80 to 90% of the market needs at the time when they need them. We've just seen the first affordable 4K camcorder that emulates the current workflows in HD from Sony and from Panasonic. And they're the first cameras that you can actually record 4K from in a meaningful way at an affordable price, which that's where the masses will pick up the product.
Sure.
So we believe that's the start of the revolution of 4K. I've made a statement that we predict that there'll be 20 cameras by NAB in that camcorder 4K space, which means people can start to upgrade their EX3 cameras, their Panasonic cameras. They'll be moving to those. When that occurs, that's when we will jump in, because that's when the masses will be moving. So we believe in 4K. Our current 4K workflow, which is selling very well for us, even though we're recording HD, is on the cameras that are, and they're more expensive cameras other than the ones that have been announced and aren't shipping yet. Our workflow is to record in ProRes or DNX, edit that footage, take the file name and time code from the camera that's recording 4K internally, and edit using our files, because the infrastructure's all there, it's very easy, simple, and everything's fast enough, disks and CPUs are fast enough. Do the editing there, and then move back to the 4K files that you recorded, raw files or internal files. And that is the most affordable workflow for 4K, unless you're doing a Hollywood budget where you've got $10 million to spend in post. And that we're finding that message, Red are now recommending us as their #1 recorder because of that workflow. And because of the cut editing functions that we have on our device, that also speeds up that workflow even more than just recording to a ProRes file.
Yeah, now that's something, as you hear, that we didn't mention yesterday, is more than just a recorder. Is you have got some editing tools, or tools that are very useful to an editor in post on this. Just give a little explanation of how that would work on something like
Yeah, so on we've got a green flag down here. Which shows us favorite and reject. So what I'm doing here is playing back the footage. So if I just pause that for a second, I can go frame by frame. So imagine I've just taken this shot. This is the workflow we recommend. Just taken the shot, I've hit play, I'm now in the clip. I can go in and do a few things. I can check my waveform again. I can check whether I was actually in focus with my focus peaking. We've got a few different focus peaking there. You can see, yes, I'm in focus. So I can check my footage and say, all right, I'm happy with that shot. I'm going to do a rough cut edit. So if I touch on this, I'll just get rid of the flags I've already got there. Down the bottom on the timeline, frame by frame, get the frame I want. That's my in point favorite. I then move somewhere else on the timeline, and do the same thing, get my out point. Now it's very fast and simple. I've just done a rough cut edit for Final Cut and Adobe. And what that means is either on the set you can do it, which we recommend is the best way. Because then when you get back to the studio, you're already cut, so 50% of your editing time is saved. Or you can take this on the plane, in the car, and you can edit. You can also play out to a big screen and have your client there. We believe on the day, at the camera, on the shoot, is where you really want to do your grunt work, and then your creative stuff happens in post after.
And I have to say, it does work very well. We've used this with a client doing even a simple talking head, and the client has been able to sit on the track. Actually, he's on a back of the car with us on the way back, and she's gone through and she's chosen the bits she wants of what they said. That's exactly what we want in the edit. That's bit.
So you've got that input.
Comes in, and it's all ready to go in the edit.
Sometimes you don't want that much client input.
No.
But it's a good tool. And actually, with the output, especially on the Ninja HDMI directly, and you can go through a Connect for the Samurai. Put it on a big screen with the client, the director, and the right people in the room. And that happens it's like brainstorming. You get the right people there, things happen. But if you're trying to do it over email or even video conferencing, it doesn't work as well as when you've got the people there.
That's brilliant. Now, we also talked about the calibration on this screen as well yesterday.
Correct.
You want to go over that again, just so we can have
so this is the Spider unit. It sits over the top here. You plug this into USB, you hit go on our calibration tool, and within a minute to a minute and a half, you have a SMPTE Rec 709 specified screen at a 6500 Kelvin white point. Once you do that, you can then apply, so you know your colors are accurate from the camera. And once you do that, you can apply LUTs over the top of that, i.e. S-Log or C-Log, or you can do your own custom LUT for that project, which a lot of the really creative guys would like to do. So that, we now have a reference that we can stick to. We recommend calibrating once every month, and we think this is a big area that will be a major feature set for monitoring. And we're lucky because we have an operating system behind it. We can program the screen ourselves. We've got control of everything. It's difficult for monitors that are using standard off-the-shelf chips to actually get that functionality in. So we think we've got a pretty big advantage in that marketplace. And that color correction in post is reduced significantly.
Brilliant. Jeromy, thank you for coming on. I think you've answered a lot of questions that people are asking, so it's much appreciated taking the time out again to come on. If they want to come and see you here, whereabouts will they find you?
Yeah, we're in Hall 9, D25, Stand D25.
And of course, the website being?
Atomos.com.
And everything will be on there that they need to find out. Brilliant. Jeromy, once again, thank you very much for coming on again and talking about it. Go and have a look. I have to say, I use the new blade, this little thing here, this beauty, and I would say definitely a beauty, nearly every day, I think, and absolutely love it. So if you can get your hands on one, I suggest you do. We are going to move on to our next guest. In the meantime, just going to remind you again of the Broadcast Show tour coming up in October. Here's something to look at that hopefully will remind you all about it. As you can see, we have fun at Broadcast Show, always lots going on, and don't forget to sign up for that tour in October at broadcastshow.com/tour. We're going to move on, and we've got our next guest with us. It's Ofir from Orad High-Tech Systems.
That's right.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Orad and what you guys do.
Okay. So Orad, we started 60 seconds about Orad.
Yep.
Actually, this year we are celebrating our 20th year anniversary. So our company is 20 years old.
Yep.
We started with virtual studios. We invented the concept of virtual studios. We then went into owner graphics. That's our bread and butter today. So everything that has to do with real-time graphics, whether that is news graphics, sports graphics, special events, whatever you can think of about graphics, Orad has a solution for that. And we then expanded also into video servers. So we have a complete line of video servers, whether that would be a replay server for sports, a production server for studios, or playout servers for MCR environment. And the last bit of our activity is media asset management. So we are generating content, whether it's graphic content, video content. So it's natural for us to have a media asset management layer that manages both video and graphics. So this is Orad, this is what we do.
So over the past 20 years, you've moved on a long way. You've seen a lot of changes in the industry. IBC is a place where people announce new technologies, new products. There's always something new happening here at IBC. How is it for Orad this year?
I think our prime focus this year, I would say, 2 or 3 main areas. First area is social TV.
Yeah.
The integration between the first screen and the second screen. Definitely, I'm always making the comparison between social TV to the 3D. 3D was a trend like 4 or 5 years ago. It went up and I think unlike 3D, I think social TV is here to stay.
Right.
So we developed the tool to allow us to deliver a complete solution from the moment you aggregate the content from the different social media all the way till it is up on the TV screen, and vice versa. So we can also take content from the TV screen, like a graphic element on the TV screen, and populate it to the social media. So that's definitely one trend that we see here. The other trend that we see is about video walls and feeding those those video walls. So today, when you're designing your studios, more and more broadcasters tend to include video walls, plasma screens as part of their set decoration. And here we come to the table because we have a great solution to feed those video walls with content, whether that content will be moving graphics, videos, combination between them, and we do that with a very high resolution. We can do that with up to 16K resolution.
Wow.
So that give a crisp and very detailed image in the studio, and basically elevates the look of the studio. So that's the second trend, and if I have to point the third one, that would be our channel in a box solution.
Right.
So I told you earlier, we are doing a video, we're doing graphics.
Yeah.
It's natural for us to have a channel in a box solution that basically blends together. This is actually the name of the product. It's called Blend. So it blends both video and graphics together to a single solution. And with the growth, what we're seeing is a dramatic growth with the number of channels that are being broadcasted.
Yes.
So, in the premium channel, people will go with the best of breed solution.
Sure.
So they'll pick up the best graphic solution, the best video server, the best automation, etc., etc. But there are more and more thematic channels coming up. With budget is of a concern. You want to decrease your capital investment. You also want to decrease your operational costs. So that's why channel in the box is becoming ever so popular, and this is our solution to this market. So this is, in a nutshell, that would be my summary.
So the fact that you have now experience, obviously, in graphics, virtual sets, distribution of graphics to big screens, you basically have everything you need in order to be able to provide somebody with the asset management solutions as well. a single box solution. So, I mean, as you say, there are a lot of channels springing up now, and I mean, like in the UK, we have the new local TV. A lot of people can now set up their own small local TV station. What's the sort of process they would need to look at in order to source something like yours, like a channel in the box? What's the sort of things they need to consider that they would need? I mean, you guys obviously provide a solution.
I think as a broadcaster, right? So I think you really need to understand what you want to do and how cost effective you want to be.
Yeah.
And this is actually what we are seeing. One of the biggest motivation is being cost effective.
Yes.
And which tools will allow you to be cost effective on at the end of the day on the TV screen.
Yeah.
So you see, it's kind of it's interesting. On one hand, your content need to be unique.
Sure.
You need to look. It need to look great.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just going to get lost in the crowd. On the other hand, you want to do it in the most economical way.
Yes.
So there's like, and everyone needs to find his balance. What we are seeing, one of the economical way to stand out from the crowd is graphics.
Yeah.
Because video is a video, but then if you are able to brand yourself smartly,
yes,
and generate appealing packaging that will create a brand identity for your channel, there is a very nice and fairly cost-effective solution for you to identify yourself and stand out from the crowd.
Gotcha. Yep. Brilliant. Ofir, thank you for coming. We are coming to the end of our time. Much appreciated coming on. If people want to find, thank you, where you are,
that's
I'm going to test you now.
We are at Hall 7. I don't remember the
I will let you know. Hall 7B27 is where they will find you.
I hope I'll find my way.
I hope you find it. It's a big show. If they want to find you on the web, what's the web address?
www.orad.tv.
Brilliant, Ofir. Thank you very much again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome.
Have a great day.
If you want to go and find them, I'll say again, they're in Hall 7B27. If you're thinking of setting up a studio and you need to get some decent graphics on there, this is the man to talk to. Have a look at their website as well. We are 15-20 minutes to go to the end. We've got a couple more people to come on. While we get our next guest sorted, have a quick look at this. Welcome back. We're on the downhill stage now. I can see the finish line ahead. But in the meantime, we've got our next guest. We've got Drew here from Nexidia. Drew, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Now, we haven't spoken before, I don't think.
I don't believe so.
This is a first
I haven't
time.
had the pleasure.
No. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Nexidia.
Sure. Nexidia is a company that was founded in 2000, based out of technology that came out of Georgia Tech University in Atlanta. The core technology for the company is the ability to search spoken word content in audio and video. We apply that to 4 key market segments: speech analytics, media and entertainment, legal, and government.
And so the idea is behind this is that you can scan a piece of material for keywords, for example, that people are saying, draw statistics from that. How would you use it? What sort of, how would you use this technology?
You know, to frame it at a high level, I'd say it's Google for audio.
Right.
Right. So I can sit at an interface and type in and say, find me any media file with these words and phrases, or combinations of words and phrases, and then present those to me, and then show me where those things were said in the audio and video.
Right.
And the use case is that there's often, people now understand that they can store effectively their media at scale in a media asset management or production asset management system. And but there's often insufficient metadata. Audio and video is this opaque data type. Dialogue is present in almost every form of video and program type. So how do you effectively search it? How do you find it to repurpose it and use it? So that's the problem we solve.
So at the moment, a lot of people do it by physically typing in a bit of metadata against a piece, against a clip, and then that's what they're restricted on to search by, effectively. So this will allow people to search a broad range, much broader range of search criteria based on what was said. So you could, for example, if somebody wanted to find clips all about somebody who spoke about Queen Elizabeth, for example.
That's right.
In the UK, I might as well say Queen Elizabeth.
That's right.
We could search for people saying the words Queen Elizabeth.
And coronation and the royal, royal baby.
Yeah. And then this will aggregate the clips together.
It does.
Show you a list of clips, and then you can choose what you. So
that's right.
As a somebody who has this content and they need to be able to search it, how does your platform, does it integrate with a system they already have, or is it a complete?
It's both.
It's both.
It's both, and so it is a software that is designed to be used on premises. It's Windows based, and it will attach to media asset management or management systems, as well as file systems or all of the above.
Yeah.
And then it will index that media. It does that at about 100 times faster than real time per CPU core. And then once that's indexed, you can search for any word or phrase. We have an API, so you can use our interface to search it, but we also have an API that allows you to embed all of our functionality into a third-party application.
Right.
And so we've done both.
So it's not a matter of, we really like this speech search recognition, but we can't actually integrate it with systems, so they can still talk to you.
That's right.
We've got a system in place, but we want to add this functionality to it. We can do it.
It's designed to augment an existing media asset management or media workflow.
Understood. So who would use this? Is this people who are searching for a piece of media that they want to play out, or is it for editors? Is it for producers?
I think we have customer examples across a very broad spectrum of the definition of media entertainment. Yeah. I'll just give you the customer list. It's Turner, it's CNN, it's T3 Media, which largest body of licensed media in the world. It's PBS, it's Cox Media. Avid licenses the technology for something called PhraseFind. So it's it's designed from the individual editor to the largest archive management for enterprise, churches, etc. Right? Broadcast news.
So, obviously, most companies, I like to think in the world, are here to make money. Is there a way that they can use this technology to improve, for example, is it monetizable? Could you monetize this
very
product?
much. It's the idea is, you were mentioning logging earlier. Yeah. We're about 1/8. At the most expensive, we're about 1/8 the cost of human logging.
Right.
We're probably 1/15 to 1/20 the cost of transcription.
Right.
So the idea is that you can search and find your media and use it and repurpose it more effectively, much more cost effectively, and have a much broader access to it.
Brilliant. Now, you're here at IBC. I'm going to test you now, see if you can tell me what booth you're at, whereabouts your stand is.
Sure, we're in Hall 3, A46.
I'm very impressed, Drew, that's great. And if people want to come and see you, obviously they can come and see you at your stand here.
Yes.
We're obviously live to the world at the moment. Some people will actually not be in Amsterdam. If they want to find some more information about this, they're interested in the technology, what's your website?
Nexidia.tv. So it's Nexidia.tv.
Drew, thank you very much for coming and explaining to us. Much appreciated. Very interesting technology. If you want to have a look and you're in Amsterdam, I'll say it again, they're in Hall 3 and it is A46, or of course have a look at their website and find out more and see how you can integrate it into your systems. In the meantime, I think we have possibly one more guest to go, and I think they're already waiting to come on. We're going to get them all sorted out and we'll be right back. Perfect.
Yeah, hey, thank you.
Well, good job. Thanks very
Pleasure.
much. You're wired up.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We've got our last guest of this show here at IBC 2013 today. And we have Ugur from Metus. Hi Ugur, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Last but not least, I am sure. Now, I've asked this of every guest who's come on. I think it's important that if you could just give us a quick overview of Metus, tell us what you're all about.
Metus is actually a pretty old software company, 14 years old, but it used to do OEM work only, and it worked through some partners. But only since the last 2 or 3 years, it's working under its own brand name and trying to make its own presence known in the market.
Yep.
And it's a software company specialized in asset management and capture transcoding systems.
Right.
And the key point of the company is to make affordable and working products using off-the-shelf components like Blackmagic cards, etc.
So obviously this is IBC and this is a great place to come and show off what you do and talk about it to lots of people. What sort of products are you showing this year at IBC?
We are showing the new releases of our Ingest, which is a multi-channel, multi-profile capture software. And new for IBC, we are showing edit file ingest workflows with our ingest. So while we are capturing some signal, you can immediately drop into your Edius or Premiere editor and start editing in place while the capture is going on. So you can immediately have results before the recording is over. That's one new thing. And we also are showing Avid support for our MOM and ingest, which is new. So we can generate Avid-friendly DNX HD content. And with small things like this, and using again off-the-shelf components like Blackmagic, we can turn a standard workstation into a dedicated capture server, like with the likes of Harris, DVS, etc. For MOM, we are showing our new web interface and Avid integration, and some more features.
Right. So one of the advantages of your system then is that you can use off-the-shelf, easily accessible and very cost-effective components to be able to put something together.
Yes.
So if somebody has an edit suite and they want to add your system in, they can convert or change one of their workstations, for example, into something that would act as an ingest.
Of course, just put a Blackmagic card in and install our software and you're good to go. And it's the same philosophy for our asset management. It can work with any storage system, any server, and any tape device.
So if people want to purchase one of these systems, how's the licensing work with one of your, for example, the ingest system and the asset management systems?
It depends on the, for ingest, it depends on the number of channels.
Right.
And for asset management, it depends on the type of amount of content and how many clients will access it. And we are talking about prices that are sub 5,000 euros to go up to several tens of thousands.
So the product itself is scalable, so you can start small.
It's flexible and scalable.
So you can start small, work up as you add more users, more channels.
Exactly.
That can come in. That's great. If people want to see you, whereabouts will they find you in the show here?
We're at Hall 9, 9A09, and other information at our website, www.metus.com.
And your website again, just say?
www.metus.com.
Metus.com, so that's METUS.com. And information about the new releases is all up there on the website. Ugur, thank you very much for coming on and talking to us about it. Much appreciated. It is a really good system, especially if you want to add it. You've got hardware in place, you can just put this system on, and before you know it, you have a full-on multi-channel ingest and acquisition system, media asset management system. It's quite amazing. Again, they are in Hall 9, and it is booth A09 or metus.com. Well, we are coming to the end of the show. It's been 2 hours, almost exactly. We're actually on time today. I'm quite impressed. It's all gone well. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back here tomorrow, same time. That's 10 a.m. European time, 9 a.m. UK time. During the rest of the show, I am walking the show floor and we're doing interviews. They are going up on our YouTube channel immediately, which is TV Bay Broadcast Show. They'll be up there sort of within 12 to 24 hours of us shooting those, and also available on our website, which is of course BroadcastShow.com. In the meantime, there's a lot more content to come from this studio through the rest of the day, so keep that web page open. There will all be something new and exciting to see what's going on the rest of the day here at IBC. Thank you to Teradek. Thank you for Holden for putting this all together. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. European, 9 a.m. UK. Until tomorrow, goodbye.